Evening folks, this is Tycho here, and as promised I'm coming back with another video. Now before I get into it, I just want to say that these videos are probably going to be slightly different in the vein that they are going to be reviews of commercial based fragrances, meaning it's made by a fragrance house, or rather I should say a brand that produces more than just fragrance. So with that in mind, my opinion of these types of fragrances is not bad. It is simply that they don't get me quite as excited because most of the time they are all very similar in that they are all fresh. There's always a fresh quality to it, and usually it's quite similar. I'm sure it's because of the immense amount of regulations and whatnot, but also because when you manufacture something like this from someone who also produces other things, they need something that's going to please the majority instead of the minority. So, you know, it's not that I mind that, it's just that I don't get quite as excited. But nevertheless, the ones that I'm going to review have they've caught my attention enough to deserve and warrant some type of log, and I consider this like a journal type of log, if you will. So this is by Ermenegildo Zegna, and it's called Uomo. I know plenty of people have heard of this, and right off the bat it is a very safe fragrance. I actually got this at Macy's. It was on a clearance, if I'm not mistaken. They were getting rid of them, and I bought it for like 30 bucks. So I was like, 30 bucks for a bottle this big? Why not? It's 3.4 ounces, and it's quality juice. There is absolutely no arguing that this stuff has incredible lasting power for a cheap and citrus-based fragrance. I don't know the exact notes off the top of my head, but I can tell you it has citrus. I believe it's got some bergamot, which is citrus. But it also has violet leaf, cedar, and vetiver in it, if I'm not mistaken. I certainly get those notes in it. This fragrance for me is unique in that it is commercial. It is cheap, but it retains lasting power, unlike most commercial fragrances in this price range. While it is nice and light and airy, because of the vetiver, I feel like that vetiver component gives it an underlying lasting quality to it that sort of holds on and gives it a bit of body. You don't necessarily smell the vetiver unless you really, really look for it, but for me this is not minty, it's not dark and woody. What it is a citrus that's been toned down as far as the amount of citrus oil you smell, and it's been accented with this cedar vibe and this violet leaf vibe. It's sweet throughout the entire life of the fragrance. It doesn't ever get really dark on me. It's just not reminiscent of what you might consider citrus-based when it comes to commercial fragrance. Lasting power, again, a good it's probably about 6 hours, honestly, which is fine in this price range. This cologne is easily reapplicable because, for me, it stays quite linear. It doesn't change. It doesn't get daring or bold. So there's that. Projection-wise, I feel like the projection is certainly above average for, again, this price range of commercial fragrance. Comment factor actually was quite nice. I got a few unsolicited comments, or compliments I should say, the first day I wore it. Every time I've worn it, someone always mentions that I smell pleasant, which is always a lovely thing to hear. It's not surprising though, because it's such a nice, safe fragrance. Short of that, you know, for the price tag, if you can find it, it's definitely worth getting if you're into this type of thing. I don't really think it's readily available anymore. I've not seen it since I bought it for sale in any sort of store. So with that in mind, it's a nice cheap buy, and definitely worth it if you're looking for a change-up. Oddly enough, if you're going out in the cool months, I feel like this has the power to last indoors. If you're going to a dinner event, some sort of formal occasion, it has an air and a class to it that could work in that situation. It's very weird for me to say that, but it definitely has a safe, fresh factor to it that you could hit on your neck a few times and go to dinner, and you would absolutely complement your company with this type of fragrance. It's pretty cool. So, you know, there's not really a whole lot else I can say for this. Age group wise, it's all across the board. You could probably introduce somebody to the world of fragrance with something like this because it's so pleasant and so safe. And it's not weak. It's not weak. Solange is, it's there. It's probably nothing crazy, but it's enough to get you noticed. I can't imagine a woman not really liking this if it works on your skin. On your clothes, it would probably smell excellent on your clothes. So, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, it's clear juice. It's not going to stain any clothes so far as I can tell. It's not stained any of mine. So, you know, not much past that, really. A good, short, concise review of this is really all I intended for. It's hard for me to get creative with it, simply because it doesn't remind me of much. So, if you have any comments about this fragrance, let me know, whether it's negative or positive. If there's anything from the Zegna line that maybe I should try, I'd be more than happy to give it a shot, see if I can get myself a decant. Because if they produced quality juice like this, at this low of a price point, I would really like to smell some of the higher end stuff, but a steer in the right direction would always be really cool, especially for you guys, and for me as well, you know. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.